Hey, welcome to another episode of Under the Surface. I'm Levi Polzin at Levi Warner on Instagram. Today we're going to be covering this book, Gifu Horihide, Tattoo Illustrations and Photographs, Volume 2. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we got a pretty cool book today. I would love to have covered Volume 1 first, but I don't have it anymore. If anybody has a copy of it they want to sell, I'm your man. But I think I lent it to one of my tattooer friends and never got it back. But honestly, I like Volume 2 better. Volume 1 mainly focuses on a lot of like samurai and like kind of heroes stories, imagery and tattooing in Japanese tattooing by Gifu Horihide, and gods and goddesses and stuff like that. And Volume 2 mainly focuses on like dragons, tigers, mythology, and folk stories in Japanese tattooing, which is far more what I just lean towards in my style that I like to do. So yeah, we're going to cover Volume 2, and if I ever get Volume 1 again, we'll cover that as well. Right off the bat, I mean, it's pretty simple, really not much to it. You've got, the cool thing with this is you got this painted design on the front and then the actual tattoo on the back, but smaller. It looks like at the time I paid about $330 for this book. I think it regularly goes in the upwards of $500-600 range these days. I've seen it go for even more than that, but yeah, so pretty cool tattoo image here. It's a pretty old book, so I really don't want to kind of crack the spine here, but so we're going to be kind of careful with it. Just a bunch of preface stuff. As you can see, there's multiple pages and designs for singular designs. Tons of stuff on honey masks, dragons, tigers. So we're going to kind of get past a lot of this. So this is basically the first page, three-faced Hanya and snake. And the cool thing is there's a description in Japanese up here, but there's also stuff in English too. And I would like to note that you shouldn't take this as like absolute fact. This is this person's interpretation of mythology and stuff like that. This is Gifu Horihide's interpretation. But I think a lot of this stuff, to me, is similar from what I've heard as well. So I've never seen the three Hanya and snake, but let's see what it says here. From many years ago, Hanya are said to keep away demons, and many households display Hanya masks or pictures at their doorway to stop demons entering their home. It is said that demons are scared away by the terrible expression. The snake is said to bring with it money and is worshipped as a god among those in the water trade. One mask offers protection, but three gives protection in all directions. So that's the reasoning to having three. Kind of a cool little thing. Got a great Hanya and snake. Some more great stuff. I'm not going to go through every single description, but basically the Hanya and snake, it's kind of like it's like multiple images of protection that are kind of like fear-related, scary type stuff, but stuff that is also very rooted in keeping you kind of safe. But yeah, Hanya and snake pretty much always go together. Well, let's read this one just to see the description, since it is doubled up a couple times here. Both snake and Hanya are very frightening. Drawn with the open mouth, such as Hanya or snow lion pictures, the scariness of the moment is captured and frightens people who look at it. Just as humans look at Hanya masks and are frightened, demons are the same. Therefore, people put up the pictures of Hanya masks, Hanya in their doorway at home, and scares away demons and evil spirits. The same thing as what we read in the other one. Here's a Hanya and red sake cup. Um, I like this description from what I remember. I think this goes into why the masks look the way they do it. And I'm going to read it because I think it's a very important takeaway with Hanya masks in general, but a lot of stuff in Japanese mythology in general. So, Hanya mask keeps away demons, and red sake cup. In the background are falling maple leaves. Hanya have the face of a woman. When one is happy and looks at the Hanya mask, it looks as that it is laughing. When one is angry and sees it, it looks angry too. Depending on the mood of whoever looks at it, its appearance changes. It is a most mysterious mask. And I think that's a super important takeaway with especially the Hanya mask, but a lot of imagery in Japanese mythology in general. You know, your goal shouldn't just be to make these, even a demon, just look as scary as possible, because even demons are kind of more multi-layered than that. So, it really kind of gives the multitudes of human existence its layered approach too. Like you look at it like, well, human beings are more, you'd never say like, oh, that person's just only angry. Maybe they're just having a bad day or something like that. And I think that is something very unique to a lot of Japanese imagery, and it's a reasoning why when I'm drawing Hanya, especially, but demons in general, even dragons and snakes, I'll even ask the wearer, the person, that my client who's getting it, like, what do you want to convey with this? Because I want to convey more what the person is trying to. And if they don't really know, I'll try and make it as ambiguous as possible so it can kind of change with them and their mood. Golden rooster. I don't know if this is supposed to be some kind of like a phoenix or something like that, but it's very similar looking, but just a little bit different, a little bit more chicken looking. Here you have a koi transforming into a dragon. Awesome image. I mean, this layout is super cool. The colors are pretty great. Gifu Horihide really has a great play of color. He plays and keeps his palette limited to pretty much a traditional Buddhist color palette, which is usually like brown, green, yellow, some blue and purple, and red, but plays around great with that. And then here we have the shashiko, which is kind of like a dragon with more wings and a tail. It's kind of like somewhere in between a fully formed dragon and a koi, but yet it's kind of a winged creature as well. Here we have the Baku. According to Chinese legend, the Baku is a mythical creature that eats people's dreams. At a glance, it looks like a little snow lion, but has a long nose and tusks like an elephant. It is not an evil being. Yeah, so from what I know about Baku is, they're dream eaters or they're nightmare eaters, and they tend to kind of ward away bad spirits in the night for like little kids or anyone who's kind of maybe has reoccurring bad dreams. Here we have twin dragon imagery, a little red and green. More twin dragons for front piece, Munawari. It's kind of where, your collarbone here and all the way down the thighs would go. Here we've got ascending dragon. And it's going to go into more detail. I'm not going to read every one of these descriptions. I'm not here to like kind of review the book and talk about if this is. I just more want to talk about like how amazing I think Gifu Horihide really is. I love the openness of this dragon. I mean, that could fit on an arm, it could fit on a leg, it could fit on a full torso, a back. It really can be used in a lot of different ways. Young dragon. Let's read why he's calling this dragon a young dragon. There are many different dragons, such as those with wings. In addition to possessing wings, some dragons have the tail of a phoenix, which are very colorful and make beautiful tattoos. In addition to this great beauty, one can feel the strength and power of the dragon coming through the colors. I didn't really get anything of why this is young dragon. I think it has something to do with blue being a more young dragon, but I thought green was like a baby dragon. And I may just be wrong there. Here's a black dragon. He kind of goes into like why he likes kind of a black and gray dragon, and it's very classic with the red belly. But there's, people have all the choices in the world basically now to get any color dragon they want. But this is kind of like a really classic dragon. Water and Wind Dragon King. Basically just speaking, and I think that the jewel, the Hoju, kind of just really brings in this kind of like this dragon king, like, residing over all of the dragons. Couple images of the Kurikata dragon, and that's usually the dragon with like the sword of Furumio that you'll see here. I always really like this really straight up and down one, but this angled one is really cool too. That could really work on like a thigh or something like that really well. Awesome full back design of a dragon. I mean, I just love the big spiraling sections of body. And the way he cut it with these clouds really in each of these sections really lends to, breaking up those color sections of the body. And I really love this pull of wind right across the kind of mid back there. That's very cool. Really interesting. Here you've got a great photo of like the design and then the actual tattoo. Big cool, just kind of one-shot dragon. You could put that on the side of an arm or a chest or something. Some kind of little sketches for like one-point dragons. Another big dragon, kind of more just one shot. Skin tear, probably playing to more Western style tastes that a lot of Japanese people or American Western tattooers are coming and getting that. I think this book was published in 80s, maybe early 90s. I'm trying to see if we can find it. I can't quite remember. Can't find it either. Here he goes all about into dragons, different colors and heights and powers and strengths and whatnot. Really, honestly, most of it is pretty vague. I could read it to you, but it's not like it's really going to tell you anything that, they're mythical creatures. They can do kind of anything, basically. Here's a cool half-sleeve chest panel design with water and clouds. Kind of fun. Just even water and clouds right next to each other. Some big full-bodied dragons. The ascending and descending, one with the mouth closed, one with the open, kind of just showing kind of the yin and yang of Japanese design of like kind of the breath in, breath out, negative and positive. Yeah. And even this one's got kind of a singular double horn, and then this one has two horns. So yeah. Here's a cool one, kind of front-facing dragon. A dragon looking at all eight directions. It has a piercing gaze. If one looks at it for a long time, it feels the dragon is looking right into one's heart and truly terrifying for a moment. This is a guardian of all eight directions. No matter what way you look at it, the dragon is always looking straight at you. Wherever you may move, its eyes appears to follow you, and there is no escape from its gaze. When painting the eyes of this design, that is, when it's decided whether or not you have to be successful, if you are tattooed with this, surely there is no way misfortune will come your way. It has to be frightened off by the dragon's stare. And oftentimes this front-facing dragon, you're going to see a lot of times, I've heard at least, that Yakuza bosses will have a front-facing dragon. And that's for multiple reasons. One, so they've always got something watching their back. And then two, the front-facing dragon, you know that the boss will always kind of directly face you. You know, they're not going to kind of go around it. They're going to directly face whatever problem, or you the problem if you are the problem. So kind of interesting takeaway. If you view yourself as somewhat of a boss, got to get a front-facing dragon. Cool. Half-sleeve dragon. Dragon with jewel. The jewel grants 5 wishes to its owner. Hoju, which is what I named my tattoo shop after. That's what that's referring to. Once again, kind of the preliminary sketch and then how it ended up laying on the body. Here we get into a little, and this is, I'll read these ones because they're a little bit more, there's a couple of them, and they're kind of short and brief, but here you go. Black dragon. Black dragons are dragons that are under 100 years old. Pretty straightforward. There you go. Kind of what that is for that color. Whether or not that's relative across the board, I don't really know. But Gifu Horihide, that's what he's kind of exclaiming in this book at this time. Another winged dragon. They kind of look like a phoenix a little bit. Dragon with crossing waves. Red dragon. Red dragon is one of the 7 different colors of dragon. Depending upon the color and the rank of the dragon changes, with only white and purple superior to red. So this dragon is fairly high ranked in seniority. Black dragons are the most junior, having not even lived for 100 years, and carries out the orders of its superiors. After several hundred years, the dragon becomes white, and if considered a god after that. More on red dragons. Pretty much just the same thing repeated again. A little bit different, but basically the same thing. Here you've got a dragon with a lucky mallet. Basically just like a big good luck kind of symbol, you know. You've got this mythical creature that kind of provide you with protection, and then good luck with the mallet as well. Because it has the hoju on the inside of it. Both dragon and little hammer are auspicious items. From long ago, people like this design and display it in their homes from good luck. The dragon arrives in heaven and throws away its wishful jewel, which falls to earth and becomes a lucky mallet, bestowing upon its owner whatever he wishes just by striking it, the story goes. You'll have to bear with me. Some of the English translation, you know, obviously is just a little skitterish. This is, you know, being written by a person whose English is not. But yeah, Gifu Horihide has some of the best. And this book, like I said, it has a lot of explanations, but I don't like to take them too literally. And I think, you know, you just look at it more as like, oh, here's one interpretation of it. Cloud dragon, dragon with chrysanthemums. Flower and dragon. When one considers what flower to put with dragons, there can only be chrysanthemum. I don't think cherry blossoms or peony go well. When looking at a traditional dragon art or carvings, one never sees dragons with any other flower other than chrysanthemum. Just like snow lion are always pictured with peony, these things tend to be predetermined. So Horihide, you know, he basically just says that you always see dragon with chrysanthemum, just the way you always see, you know, snow lion or shishi, karajishi, foo dogs, with peony. And it is pretty true. And I think a lot of that comes from a lot of this stuff, the imagery comes from China, and you always did see dragons with chrysanthemums. It was the royal flower of the king, prince of China, and that kind of just got later on taken down into Japan as well, and the dragon just went along with it. So, you know, it's like you could abide by that rule, but it's always one of those things where it's like, well, you know, I've heard a lot of people go, well, you can think like, oh, well, this is the rule, or you could always, abide by like, well, we're people that kind of break rules and make up our own mythology and whatnot. So, interesting thought, though. Here's Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon alongside the Phoenix, White Tiger, Turtle is one of the four messengers of the gods, and the wish-fulfilling jewel held in its hand is said to possess secret power. In particular, the dragon not only offers protection from illness and natural disasters, but is also believed to bring wealth, good luck, and success in business. The rest of the stuff is kind of about the same. Goes back into like red being lower, black being the lowest. Cool, really elongated, long ascending dragon. I really like that under shot where the belly scales flow right into the bottom jaw of the dragon. That's really cool. I've utilized that a lot. I think it's a really cool way of having that flow from the body into the head of the dragon. Golden Dragon. All right, we'll read this one again. I feel like some of it's repetitive, but the Phantom Golden Dragon. Although they may defeat tigers or lions, the one remaining animal that humans surely fear as a god is the Golden Dragon. It is said that once people have this dragon tattooed on their own skin, their eyes are open to its limitless power and wisdom. It is a guardian protector and has fierce appearance. It is said that it is capable of giving life back to those about to die, because it is so powerful and cannot be defeated by an enemy. It exists in the highest level, and energy emitting from its body dispels all evil and beckons good. And then kind of goes back into the same stuff of like the black and the red and the other dragons. Here we got a cool tiger. This was supposed to be mirrored with this dragon, that they're kind of like fighting each other. Another half sleeve design. Really cool half sleeve design, and he's utilized this image and kind of refined it over the years. Yeah, I don't really know. This one says a moonlit tiger. I don't even see a moon in there. But kind of just like talking mainly about, tigers can, move through the night hundreds of miles and stuff like that. And they're kind of like solitary creatures. Fierce tiger. I love that. That once again, like the front facing tiger, just like the front facing dragon, is kind of the same thing. He kind of depicts the same thing. White tiger, kind of another messenger of the gods, because it's unusual, so it came from the gods. A couple little smaller images of tiger heads and stuff. Those are great. Chinese snow lion and peony. We'll read this. As many of you know, the two kings, peony and lion. When one tattoos snow lion, it is always depicted with peony. The lion represents hardness, the peony softness, the perfect balanced combination. In both paintings and sculpture, one always sees lion with peony. Such pairings are common. For example, dragon with tiger, cherry blossom with gourd, Mount Fuji and the sun, pond and crane. They are always complementary and should always be depicted together. It is a design that is popular for years and one of the most common tattoos. And honestly, it's one of my favorite things to tattoo. I always love, snow lion, Chinese lion, shishi, foo dogs, whatever you want to call them. Because there's somewhere, there's this mythical creature. It's somewhere between a dog and a cat. And it's just really cool. I think I actually have, I'll go find the photos here, see if I can bring them up here. But I think I have the actual tattoo of this. I own a couple photographs of Gifu Horihide's work. I'll see if I can find them and show them to you in the end. Really great design. If you remember in the Philip Liu book, kind of go through, I said that he had referenced a Gifu Horihide design, and this is that design that I was talking about. And as you can see, it's pretty much exactly taken, except for Philip just elongated it in its side. He had it fill that guy's whole leg pretty much, but it was almost exactly this design, and I really think that's really cool. Really cool design. Once again, you see the painting, and then you see the image tattooed on this person's back. Here we get the phoenix. Alongside the turtle, dragon, and tiger, the phoenix is one of the four messengers of the gods and is only seen by human eyes on auspicious occasions. They have a beauty that is incomparable and to anything else in this world. So there you go. The phoenix in Japanese mythology, as opposed to European mythology, is similar and much different at the same time. This phoenix right here is straight taken from a Hokusai illustration. Did his own take, but I mean the layout is exactly of a Hokusai illustration. And this one, once again, is taken from, I'm not sure who did this one. I keep on wanting to say Kunyoshi, but I'm not sure on that one. If you know, put it in the comments. But then again, shown on the tattoo on this person's side. Full front facing stuff. Here you have that Hokusai design, his take on that on a back. Great color combination, will look great with all the black background. Lightning and snake. Some of my favorite imagery. I really, really love tattooing snakes. There's something about them. Let's read into the snake, just so we can kind of give people a little bit, if you don't really know why snakes are important in Japanese mythology, maybe this will give us a little bit more insight. Snakes that live a long time are said to turn into dragons. The belly of the dragon is said to be that of a snake. Those involved in the water trade, in particular, like dragons as their protector. The display of pictures of snakes in their shops, just like foxes that live for more than 100 years, can assume human form. There are many stories about snakes that adopt human form and can intermingle with them. However, it is impossible to deny that many people revere snakes as gods. So there you go. They're kind of looked at as, just dragons that you can see in the human realm a lot of the time. I love this snake with the scroll. The green really pops off that white and a little bit of blue. Very similar in the layouts you'll see with the snake. Like this one is almost identical to this one, but he's just taking out or adding some chrysanthemums, where he just had some clouds and stuff there and water. But very similar. Just like that snake design, he's going to use it again and again. I've always really loved this white snake design. Not so much the band, don't really love white snake as much, but the white snake, the tattoo, love it. White snake. As a harbinger of good fortune and money, the white snake is worshipped as a reverend of the goddess of Byzantine. A house in which the white snake lives is blessed with the riches of eternity. Also, the man who carries and discards skin of a white snake is said to never have to worry about money for the rest of their lives. Snake and mallet. Once again, the mallet, lucky mallet, is just kind of used as a good luck charm imagery in a lot of Japanese tattoos. Cool yellow snake. Fox, kitsune. The fox is the god of businessmen, and for a long time ago, merchants would travel to Inari's shrine and pray for the success of their ventures. Of all the animals, the fox readily allows itself to be seen and believed to be the messenger of the gods. It is especially liked by those in the water business. I don't really understand what this water business is. I wonder if that's just saying like fishermen and stuff like that. I don't imagine it's literally people selling water. I don't really know. If you know, put it in the comments. I'm that part's kind of lost on me though. Here you've got the nine-tailed fox. It goes into a big story about it. I'm not going to read through all that stuff though. But yeah, kind of how they assume human form quite a bit and trick people, namely kind of people think that they're really kind of getting over on people. Here you got some the black koi. In feng shui, the koi is a fish that brings great riches, especially gold-colored koi, which are considered ghosts that beckon gold and wealth. If one keeps 5 golden koi together, the words 5 koi swimming in a hymn for divine intervention, and so is considered particularly auspicious. Many people keep pictures of 5 carp in their home. The Chinese Emperor Gensho sent the Princess Yokai a picture of 5 koi swimming. So there's a little bit more on koi. He kind of talked more about golden koi than the black koi, but whatever. Here you've got kind of red. He goes in to talk about how these are kind of supposed to be tattooed in kind of 3/4 sleeves. And then here's kind of a layout for a 3/4 sleeve. More about jumping koi. Climbing the waterfall. More climbing the waterfall. I really like this blue one. The movement of the tail and the over the top viewpoint, you don't see quite as much. You kind of see this 3/4 view far more often. But this straight on top view, you don't see quite as often. I think it's really effective. The 7 different, we're going to what he's saying about these peony here. The 7 different colored peony are red, white, yellow, blue, violet, pink, and purple. The leaves of the flower are thin, are in bunches of 3. Of all 100 flowers, the peony is said to be the king and is the largest and most beautiful of all the flowers in Japan. It is the most famous as the flower that goes with Chinese lion. And he kind of just repeats that over here, that basically they're the king, of the flower realm. And they kind of show strength and power and beauty all in one design. And here's a bunch of single peony designs. Really good colors. Love that kind of violet purple in that one. This great orangey red over here. Bunch of chrysanthemum. Talking about water and chrysanthemum. Let's read what water and chrysanthemum specifically kind of talks about. Flowering peony by the riverside surrounded with flowering water and rocks is a design that alongside cherry blossoms is truly representative of Japan. He says peony here, but I wonder if he meant chrysanthemum, since that's what it says in the header here. There are many different types, and in the tattoo designs one can see many of them. Weeping, wild, silk thread, and peony are all very varieties of chrysanthemum, and they're all worthy of designs. Yeah, he's kind of wavering here. Basically, he's talking about chrysanthemums, even though he keeps saying peony. But I think the weeping chrysanthemum is the best. This design is good for background to human figure, or for dragon or snake or koi, and match it well, and it is therefore very common and popular in tattoo. So there you go. You have that kind of his reasoning of using chrysanthemums quite a bit in his work. And here you go. He shows a bunch of 3/4 sleeves with chest panels with chrysanthemums. Cherry blossoms. I'll read a little bit about cherry blossoms here. There are 4 different tattoo designs based on cherry blossom. The others are cherry blossoms blowing in the snow, nighttime cherry blossoms, and ya cherry blossoms. Snow cherry blossoms has less black and gray and lots of single petals blowing in the wind. Night cherry blossom has more black and gray and fewer petals. Ya cherry blossoms have petals that are slightly rounder than normal. If they were people, you'd call them fat. I don't really know what the Yeah, the when I'm it's spelled Y-A-E or Y-A-E. Um, I might be mispronouncing that. And you have just like some stories of mythology here. Not gonna really super go into these, but they're pretty cool classic images you see tattooed on a lot of backs, mainly backs. You're gonna see these kind of more figurative stuff tattooed. The colors are great in these. Yes, that person, demon, deity, or whatever has a bit off penis in its mouth. Um, I don't know. I'd read into it, but I don't really feel like it. A cool Spider Woman demon. This one's really cool. I love the painting and then seeing the tattoo right next to it. I always just think that's really striking. You're like, all right, here's my concept, and then here's how it was actually applied um, in the tattoo. And here he took out pretty much all the waves in which he and put a big section of clouds right in the butt crack to not have to tattoo scales right in that area, which is smart design. Kiyohime, which is a cool little myth of this kind of snake demon woman. A lot of great stuff getting into more mythology and gods and whatnot. Gifu Horihide really corresponded a lot with Ed Hardy in the 70s and 80s, and I think they put out. I think Ed might have helped put out this book if I remember right. No, I guess maybe it was put out by a Japanese publisher. But they really did a lot of correspondence, and the photos that I have are photos that Sailor Jerry was getting from Gifu Horihide. They kind of traded photos back and forth. That was, the way tattooers were kind of communicating before the internet, essentially, and before tattoo conventions were really a thing. Here's a bunch of masks. Just kind of cool and interesting the way that they're laying them out with the cherry blossoms. In here, it goes kind of more into detail of like why which masks are going with which. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. Obviously, I feel like these two, the Hotafuka and Hototoiko, go together. But the rest I feel like can kind of be interchanged a little bit more. But yeah, masked sleeves I always feel like are really cool, or you see like a full front of masks, and it always looks really, really cool. Here goes a little bit more in detail of some of these different masks and comparing them, and like, why they kind of can go together or don't, and why you can kind of use them all no matter what, because it's all part of no theater. Bunch of different stuff. Really getting in the kabuki theater there. And then I think the last little bit of this book is just a bunch of single shot kind of designs, which we'll just kind of blow through here a little bit. There's some cool stuff. A lot of it's just going to be like kind of masks, head designs, things that you could kind of do in one single session for kind of like tourist tattoos, essentially. I always love these frogs, kind of like, you see these really dancing kind of anthropomorphic ones done by Kyosai quite a bit. Some of these other ones are kind of probably by a lot of different artists, but yeah, these more anthropomorphic ones you really see with Kyosai, and some Hokusai as well. A little bit more just Sumi designs. But yeah, this book is pretty great. He gets into a lot of kind of lewd and shrewd imagery back here. A lot of, I mean, this crab coming out of the vagina, this little penis ghost and stuff. There's some kind of interesting stuff in the very back of this book. I love that all like the dirty imagery is like put in the back of the book. These two dogs humping. Just this little hand with the thumb going through the four fingers. And then the very back is a bunch of line imageries of, I mean, half sleeves. It's straight. You could just take that, use that, and you know you'd make a good half sleeve. It's a great Tenyo image. Some of the stuff like this is just straight, like, redesigned from Kanyoshi, both these images. Pretty much all these back images are. Some Buddhist imagery. Canon, Guanyin, Fudumio, Raijin, straight taken from Hokusai. And then just acknowledgements and whatnot in the back. And there's some other stuff kind of going in more depth in the back with dates and stuff like that. And then another cool picture of that. I'm going to go grab those cool photos really quick of that and show those off. So I'll be right back and we'll just take a look at those actual photos of Gifu Horihide's work that I have. So yeah, I have a small collection of Gifu Horihide photos. Some kind of cool, fun stuff, some in-progress stuff. So here, both of these I have is the progress shot on the left of just the background being done. And then the right one, sorry, these are kind of very shiny old photos, old Fuji color of the shishi all colored in. And I don't know if you can really see it here, but they're stamped right here. Kazuoguri. And that was the thing. You really saw a lot of that stamping, and a lot of those. Sailor Jerry did it. Ed did it. Kind of multiple photos of this chrysanthemum half sleeve, which we saw that layout in the book. So here you go. You see the actual photos of him tattooing that stuff from what we see in the book. Pretty interesting and cool. And then the last one I have is this dragon back, which is really cool and interesting. Obviously no background yet, but plans on having it there. But yeah. No date on these, but I would guess probably 70s, something like that. Maybe a little earlier, but somewhere on there I would imagine. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers by the end of the month, and that way we can start monetizing the channel. It really helps me do a little bit more deep dive. I would love to go more in depth into this book, but until I can start monetizing the channel, I really can't go like full on depth into it. It just takes a little bit more time. So remember to subscribe to the channel. Like all the videos, comment if you have anything interesting to say, if you loved it, if you hated it, whatever. I'd love to hear back from y'all. Thanks again. See you next time.